All right, welcome. We are backstage here with Muse right after the show, just finished. And I've seen you guys a couple of times, and you top it every time. Presentation and the music itself, it was absolutely amazing.
Cool. Thank you very much.
And thank you for doing this like right after the show, because I'm sure you guys are pretty spent at this point.
A little bit spent it.
A little bit. Well, let's get right into this. One of the first things I wanted to ask you about is, well, you personally, I know you had kind of had Exogenesis in the back of your head for a bit. How and why was this the right album to put it on?
I think it's because it was a self-production. I think because we produced the album ourselves. I think most producers would hear that and say that's just not, that's not a rock set. That's not a rock track. You know what I mean, so
you're being weird.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's because we were self-producing. I think we could sort of get away with whatever we wanted to. So we had total freedom in the studio. We had almost too much freedom. Because we had to sort of argue amongst ourselves, trying to organise what we wanted to do.
Right.
But I think we all were very open-minded to just try anything. So I think it's probably because there's no producer around that we ended up doing it on this album. Yeah.
And so what's, obviously that's something that really pushes the sound of the album and challenges the listeners. What would you guys say is like the next thing that you really want to step up into?
As to what we do in the future, it's hard to tell, really. Every album's, approached very, very separately from the last. Mm-hmm. We always seem to find like little doors and avenues within an album that we feel we might want to follow further or take further in the future.
Okay.
I don't know, there were so many new things on this album for us that we've done, like the symphony, that being so kind of classical or something,
right.
That
Sure.
was, and having huge orchestra, that was something that was really, really exciting, really challenging to do, to bring it into, a kind of three-piece rock band, kind of, ultimately.
Exactly.
That was a really new thing. Could be great to pursue that. We'd certainly like to do some performances of a whole orchestra, of that song, all three pieces as well. Things like Undisclosed Desires, which is very, very electronic, programmed, very different kind of thing that we've tackled in the studio. That would also be something that we might want to pursue in the future. But really, every album, I guess we tour for a long time, then we like to finish, take a break, start a new chapter,
right,
and then get back together and see what ideas are floating around and see how we can take it forward, because that way we feel like we're doing something different from the past.
Well, in talking about the future, now I want to step back to the past. The States were a little slow to pick up on Muse. I got showbiz. I was on to it then.
Nice.
But, do you feel like now in your career that you come to the States and there were songs that they missed from you guys that you feel like, I wish they had been able to pick up on this track? Because we did this like 2 albums ago, 3 albums ago, whatever.
The ultimate test is when I try and get the crowd to sing along to Plug In Baby, which is off the second album, which wasn't even released here.
Right.
I think it got released recently or something, but it wasn't released at the time that it was released in Europe. And but it's really funny because playing gig tonight, and I sort of get everyone to sing along on that song, and everyone sings along, so they've all got it somewhere. Somehow they heard that song. Yeah.
Now, are there other ones that you feel like that you guys really had something and it just didn't pick up on the States?
We don't really dare play anything off the first album over here.
No.
I'd like to though.
Which one?
The first album did come out over here on time. But we never really spent any time touring here, and then the label was a bit weird. It was a bit weird setup and situation there, so the second album never came out. But I'd like to pull out some older ones. We've done Sunburn quite a lot.
Yeah.
And we probably played it over here in the past, but we haven't done on this tour. But, there's things like, Muscle Museum.
I was going to say, Muscle Museum was
we haven't played
single.
that for ages. We weren't even playing that in Europe.
Maybe we should give that a go.
But I'd like to try it, because I think it would be. I think it.
I would sing along. I would.
Yeah, it'd have a whole new life.
As soon as I heard it. Yeah.